Good morning, guys. Today we are going to see a new concept in Java called briefly. We want to see a new concept in Java called serialization. Okay, object serialization in Java. What is this object serialization in Java? What is the advantages of object serialization in Java? That is briefly we have to see. Okay, first of all, first we will see what is object serialization. Then we will see what is the use of the object serialization. Clear? When we come to the object serialization, we know how to create objects in Java. For many classes, we are regularly creating objects in the program. Okay, when we create the objects in the program, we are using the object for various works. Clear? When we come to the serialization of objects means, okay, storing the state of the object as a sequence of bytes. When we come to the object serialization is the storing of the sequence, storing of the object state as a sequence of bytes in some file or in some database is known as the serialization. Converting the object into sequence of bytes is known as object serialization. In one line answer, simply conversion of the object into the sequence of bytes is defined as the object serialization. Okay, while converting the object into the sequence of bytes, not only the object, okay, along with the objects, it's information, okay, the data related to that object is also converted into a sequence of bytes. That means the name of the object, the type of the object, that means for which class the object is created, the data type of the object, as well as the what are the values stored in that object. That means whatever the instance variables in that re- related to that object, the information about the instance of variables of that object are also stored. Okay, name of the object, type of the object, that means to which class it belongs to. Next, when there are some instance, when there is some instance variables of the object, what are the status of the instance variables object is also stored in the form of sequence of bytes. We will see in the program clearly about that one. We will learn it clearly. Clear that we will see when we come to the concept of the when we come to the program, we will see more clearly about that one. Now, simply in one line up to now, what is a object serialization means? The process of representing object as a sequence of bytes is known as the object serialization. We know what is meant by the bytes means zeros and ones only. So we have to, the process of converting object into the sequence of bytes is known as serialization. Clear? After the object is serialized, we can store that serialized object in some file or in some database, or we can transfer that one through some, we can send it to some other area, some other location in the network. Clear? And at the other side, okay, at the other side, whoever want to use that object, they will simply deserialize that object. For example, I serialized an object and stored in some file. After some time, second person will come, he will deserialize that object and he will use that object. I serialized the object and placed it in some file or some database. The second person will come after some time, he will deserialize that object and he will reuse that object. Clear? That is the thing. After serialization of the object, we will store that object in some location, and whenever we want again, we can deserialize that object. That means converting the object from sequence of bytes to normal form is called deserialization. Reverse of serialization is called the deserialization. We are converting back the object to its normal state. That is called the deserialization, depending on the requirement. Okay, that is briefly. First of all, what is a serialization means? See, if you observe here, the object is converted into byte sequence of bytes, that is byte stream, and we can store it in some memory like file, okay, memory, system memory, or some databases. Wherever in some memory locations, we can store that object in the form of byte streams. And whenever we want back, okay, that byte streams in the memory can be deserialized into the original form called object.
Okay, originally it is object is converted into byte streams and stored in some location. Whenever we want, with that say the byte streams are again converted back to the object and used. Okay, conversion of object to byte streams is called serialization. Conversion of byte streams to back to object is known as the deserialization. Okay, now the question is, what is the use of this one? Later we will see how to convert. First, the question will be, what is the advantage of converting the object to byte streams? What is the benefit we will get? Okay, by converting the object into byte streams, we can happily save the state of the object. We can happily save the state of the object. Okay, for few, we can happily save the state of the object up to the required time. For example, for the best example is regularly we will play the games. Okay, in the games we will have level 1, level 2, level 3, like that will be there. Today we played successfully, level 2 is completed. Now the state of the game is up to level 2. Okay, tomorrow we will again we will come back and we will play the level 3, or we will play the level 4, like that. So up to tomorrow, the state of the game should be saved. Okay, here the concept is serialization is there. The state of the game will be internally saved by converting that state into the byte streams. Okay, the object will be internally, the state of that object, game's object will be converted into the form of byte streams, and it will be saved in the memory. So that whenever in the tomorrow when we come back again, that byte streams will be converted back to object and you will continue the game. Okay, our gaming is an best example for the where we use the serialization concept, serialization and deserialization. By being regularly, we will save the game temporarily. Okay, while we are playing the game up to some level, we will save the game. That saved state will be stored in the form of byte streams only. Okay, the game's object will be stored in the form of byte stream. Similarly, when we come to the chatting also, okay, in the messengers, we are regularly doing the chattings. Okay, that will also the use the concept of serialization and deserialization. Whenever we are sending the messages, we are doing the chatting. Today we have in the WhatsApp or Facebook we have done some chatting, and tomorrow we will continue from that one. Okay, whatever the messages we have up to now, the state of that object will be saved in the form of byte stream. Okay, in the server machine, the state of that chat message object will be saved in the form of byte streams. And whenever we come back to that one, again the byte streams will be internally converted back to the object so that we can continue from that one only. Wherever previously whatever the messages we have, we can happily see that messages and we will continue chat from those messages on the next day. Okay, we don't lose the previous data. We will continue chatting from the previous data only. Okay, that is the one main advantage is by using the serialization and deserialization concept, the state of objects can be stored. And one more advantage is the objects can be easily moved, traveled through the network. Okay, by converting the objects into the byte stream, they can be easily travel through the network from one system to another system. They can easily move from one system to another system through the network with the help of where, okay, when by the help of this serialization concept. That again the best example is the chatting and the online gaming only. In the online, two three people will play games. Okay, person one will play game with person two, or one person will play with multiplayers. Okay, we can multiplayers will play the games. So that here the state game state will be traveled from person one system to person two system. Okay, for example, we are playing caroms. Now the coin is towards the system one. Okay, whenever the system one has played, the object state will be transferred to the system two. On the system two, again the person will throw the coin. After that one, again the coin object state will be transferred to system one back. He will again use, again it will go back to system two, like that. Between system one and system two, the object state will be is going to be travel through some network. Okay, that is thing. Whenever we want to transfer the objects in the internet, it is easy to transfer the objects when we convert them into byte streams with the help of the serialization and deserialization concept. Okay, at person one, first object will be converted into byte stream. Then those byte streams will be traveled through the internet, and at the other person side, those byte streams will be again transferred back to in the form, converted back to the object form. Like that, the game status will be transferred from person one to person two, person two to person one. Okay, after person one is played, that status will be transferred to person two. Again, by seeing that status state, person two will play the game. Again, the state will be sent back to the person one, like that. Okay, similarly, chatting also messages. We will send a message, another one will send the message. It will be transferred to the other one. Again, it will come back to the person one. Reply will come back to the person one, like that. The chat state will be transferred through the internet easily with the help of this concept of serialization and deserialization. See here. Okay, the by using the serialization concept, we can store the object's state in some storage disks like storage locations like files, databases, or okay, we can store the object state in files or databases, as well as we can send the object states to other systems through the network. Okay, we can have two advantages with the serialization. One is either we can store the object states in our file or databases, or we can send the object states to other systems in the network. Okay, by using this serialization concept. On the other system, what will we do after storing in the files or databases? After some time, we will retrieve back the object. We will construct the object from those byte streams. It is called the deserialization. Clear. And the examples of he has given some examples here. Okay. One example is if you see the second example, saving state of a game. Okay. Today we played up to some level of the game. That state will be saved on the disk. Okay. Tomorrow we will continue from the previous state. Okay. That is one advantage. Next, sending messages as objects in chat application. In the chat application, when we are chatting with one another, we will send messages. The messages will be transferred to the other one in the form of objects, which are converted into byte streams. Okay, sending of messages over the network from one system to another system in the form of objects in chat application is also one more example for this serialization concept. And one more example is storing of list of student objects. Okay, regularly we will store the student data as an object. That means for every student we will store his data in the form of an object. For the student, we create object S1, S1 dot name, S1 dot age, S1 dot subject 1 marks, S1 dot subject 2 marks, subject 3 marks, like that. Okay. The state of the student will be saved in the form of some object. Whenever we want to know the details of that student, simply we will call that student with his corresponding object S1. Okay. Okay. Storing of the state of the object serialization is used. Okay, for in the gaming also to save the state of the game, serialization is used. In the chat applications also, serialization is used. These are the some applications where we are using the Java serialization. See, from the node one or system one, object is there from system one. In the system one, object is created. Then that object is serialized and it will be sent to network. From sorry, the directions are in reverse order. Sorry, from the system one object is created, that object is serialized, and the after serialized it will be transferred to the network. Next, other side what will happen from the network, the object these the object in the form of byte streams will be deserialized into object. The byte stream will be received, those byte streams are deserialized into the object. Again, object is used by the system too. Okay, by serializing, object is transferred to network in the form of bytes. By deserialization, the sequence of bytes are converted back to object and used by the system too. That is briefly first thing. What is the serialization concept? The process of converting objects into sequence of bytes is called serialization. In the Java, what is the serialization concept is the process of converting that by objects state into the objects state into sequence of bytes so that they can be stored either in the files or databases, or they can be transferred through the network to some other system. That overall concept is known as the serialization. Okay, when we come to this serialization, okay, purely it is independent of JVM. This concept of conversion of the object into stream of bytes or stream of bytes into object is purely platform independent. It does not depend on the JVM. Okay, JVM does not, this process will not depend on the JVM we are using in our system. So that the advantage with this one is, okay, we can convert object into sequence of bytes in one platform, and we can deserialize that object in another platform. That means, for example, an object A1 can be converted into sequence of bytes in OS Windows operating system. An object A1 can be converted into sequence of bytes in Windows operating system, and same sequence of bytes can be converted back to object in Unix operating system. So the object is converted into sequence of bytes in one platform, Windows operating system, and it is deserialized in another platform, Unix operating system. Serialization is done on one platform, deserialization is done on another platform. Okay, this is serialization and deserialization is purely, this entire process is JVM independent. That means it is not depending on the JVM, so that it is purely platform independent. Okay, we create the object in Windows operating system. We convert that object into sequence of bytes, and we can send those sequence of bytes to Unix operating system. In the Unix operating system, we can convert those sequence of bytes back to object. Okay, it is serialized in OS Windows operating system, and it is deserialized in Unix operating system. Is it clear the difference? Okay, this entire process is JVM independent. Next, when we come to this concept of serialization and deserialization of objects, for serializing and deserializing of the objects, two classes are used. Those are object output stream, object input stream classes are there. For serializing, we take help of the object output stream class, and for deserializing, we take help of the object input stream class. We will see the use of these two classes in the programs. For serializing and deserializing, we take help of these two classes. Now we will come to the first part called serializing an object. That means converting an object into sequence of bytes. Clear? First of all, for an object to serialize an object, okay, that but the class to which that object belongs to must met two conditions. Okay, to serialize an object, its corresponding class must satisfy two conditions. Then only that object can be serialized. For an object to be serialized, its corresponding class must satisfy two conditions. What are those two conditions? Its class must implement java.io.serializable interface. Okay, whatever the object we want to serialize, its class must implement java.io.serializable interface. Okay, it must implement the serializable interface which belongs to java.io package. Okay, I will show you this point in the program. Next, all the fields in the class must be serializable. That means all the variables in that class must be serializable. If you don't like any particular variable to be serialized, okay, if you don't like a variable to be serializable, it must be marked as transient. That means generally, if you want an object to be serialized, the class must implement serializable interface, and the second condition is all the instance variables in that class must be serializable. All the variables in that class must be serializable. Sometimes we don't like some variables to be serializable. Then we must make those variables as transient. That means if you make any variable as transient, what will happen is that variable will not be converted into sequence of bytes, and that variable will not be transferred over the network. Whenever we make any variable as transient, that particular value will not be converted into sequence of bytes, and it will not pass through the network. I will show you in the program these 2 points also. First, remember these 2 points. The class must implement serializable interface, as well as all the fields in the class must be serializable. Okay, now we will come to a example program to understand this one. And before going to that example program, here already I told you, for serializing an object, we take help of one class called object output stream. We take help of a class called object output stream class to serialize an object. Inside this object output stream, we use a particular method called write object method. Inside this object output stream class, there is a particular method called write object method. We take help of the write object method, which belongs to the class object output stream, to do the serialization of object. We need the write object method, which belongs to the object output stream. Clear? Now with this knowledge, we will try to first write a program for serialization of the object, then we will go for the deserialization. Now carefully see here. I have created a class employee. I have created a class employee which is implementing java.io.serializable. Clear? As the condition said, okay, whenever we want to serialize an object, its class must implement java.io.serializable. So the class employee is now implementing java.io.serializable. Since the class is the first condition is satisfied. Next, what are the objects, the item fields in this one? The instance variables in this class are name, which belongs to string, address, whose data type is also string, employee, emp, int, age, int. So I have used 4 instance variables here. The 4 fields are there: name, address, IMP, and age. If you observe these 4, okay, when we come to the fourth one, age, I made age as a transient. That means I don't like to convert age into the bytes. I don't want to convert age into bytes, and I don't want to transfer age into the network. Only age will not be transferred through the network. Remaining 3 fields will be transferred in the network. We will observe that one when we come to deserialization. So here remember, present I have made only age as the transient. Next, this is the first class. I have created the class employee with some fields: name, address, employee, and age. Clear? After some time, below I have created a class called Serializable Demo. In that main method, I created an object for the employee class. Here we created the object for the employee class. The name of that object is E. E is the object which belongs to the employee class. Okay, my final aim is I want to convert this E into byte stream. Clear? First, I created an object for the employee class. I have given values to the fields of employee class: E dot name Murali, E dot address Macharla, E dot emp 504, E dot age 31. Okay, I have created the object. I have given values to the fields of the object. Next, after some time, I am creating a file. Okay, okay, sorry, I have forgotten one point. Okay, whenever we are converting the object into the byte streams. Those byte streams must be stored, and whenever we are creating converting a object into say byte stream, and if you want to store them in some file, the file name must be ended with .ser. Okay, the extension of the file must be .ser. Whenever we want to store the sequence of bytes of object into some file, that file must be have some extension called .ser. ser indicates that it is a serializable file. This file is a serializable file. Now I am opening a file with the object file out by using the syntax file output stream file out is equal to new file output stream of. This is the path of the file. In this path, I want to create a file with the name ee.ser. Okay, the file name is the employee file, so I am using we, and ser is the extension of that file. Why? Because see, it indicates that ser indicates that this particular file is a serializable file. That means it contains only sequence of bytes. So first a file is created with the name ee.ser. I have created a file in the path C users Murali desktop BDA. In that one I am creating this file. Okay, this 26th line indicates the creation of file. After the file is created, we are attaching that file to object output stream. We are opening the object output stream, and the file is attached to that object output stream. See here the next line, object output stream out is equal to new object output stream of file out. Whatever the file created here, that file is attached to this object output stream. Clear? We are creating a file with the object name file out, and that file out object is given as an input parameter to this object output stream class object out. Clear? So now the file is attached in this line. File is created, ee.ser file is created, and it is attached to the object output stream. Now by calling the write object method of the object output stream in the PPT we have seen previously. See, in the object output stream class, we have to take help of write object method. We have to use write object method which belongs to write object is object output stream class. So using that one object output stream out object, we are calling this write object of E. This is the main thing. Okay. The object, whatever the data related to this object E, it is written to the file. By these three lines, we have created a file. Next, the file is attached to object output stream. Then what the data of the object is and return to the file. Okay, that is the concept of these three lines. File is an empty file is created. It is attached to object output stream. Next, by using write method, write object method of file object output stream class, the object E is written to the file. After these three lines, whatever the data in this one, e dot name, Murali, e dot address, Macharla, e dot emp 504, e dot age 31, all this data will be written to the file in the form of sequence of bytes. In the form of sequence of bytes, they will be written to the file. Now we are closing the object output stream is closed. Out dot close. Again, file out dot close. We are closing the file also. Object output stream is closed. File is closed. Okay. And for confirmation, we are displaying a statement. The serialized data is saved in the file in location e.ser. Clear. Whenever any error is the exception has came in this one, it will go to the catch block. First, we will run this one. See, it is displaying the statement. Serialized data is saved in this one. First, we will go to this location and we will check whether this file is created or not. See here, SCR file is created with the extension SCR, e.scr file is created. If you open it one, we can't understand that one. Clear. Here, one more time. First, I am deleting this one. Now e.scr is not available in this one. I have compiled. Again, I am checking one more time. Again, e.scr file is created. Okay. If you observe here this program, what we are doing is we are taking a class employee, which is implementing java.io.serializable. The fields in that are four fields are their name, address, employee, and age. Here age is transient. Remember that one, that point for few minutes. Age is transient. Next, in the main class serializable demo, we created an object for this employee class. The object name is E, and we given values to the fields of that employee class. E dot name, address, employee, and age. After some time, we created a file e.scr. We try to open a file e.scr. Okay, by using the syntax file output stream, we have opened a file in the location given in the path, whatever the location given here. In that path, a file empty file is created. Then that file is attached to object output stream. And by using write object method of object output stream, this object E is written to that file. The object E in the 17th line is written to the file. Clear. Now we are closing that output object stream and we are closing the file. Finally, this is the first part called serialization. Okay, now we come back to our PPT. After serialization, deserialization of an object. What is this deserialization is? Okay, it will read a sequence of bytes from a file or database and convert that into an object. The sequence of bytes in a file or database will be converted into the object. Deserialization is the reverse process of serialization. Converting object into sequence of bytes is serialization. Deserialization is the reverse of that one, converting back the sequence of bytes into object. Clear. Here it will take help of one method called object input stream. Object input stream class. Here it will take help of a class called object input stream class. Previously, serialization is using object output stream class. Deserialization is using the class called object input stream. In this class, again, it will use a particular method called read object method. In the object input stream class, it will take help of a particular method called read object method. Clear. By using this read object method, it will read the data from the it will read the sequence of bytes from the file and it will convert them into the object. Okay, we will see this one also by using a program. Now see here, we are taking a class deserializable. In this one, first for the object employee E is equal to null, I am creating the object E with null. Why? Because currently we don't have any data for the object E. Okay, the object E is previously the object E is in the form of sequence of bytes only. So first I am creating an empty object E with null value. Next, I am opening the file in read mode. Previously we opened the file in write mode. Now I am opening the file in read mode. Which file I am opening is the same file I am opening in read mode. Okay, ee.scr is file is opened in read mode to read the data from that one. By using the file input stream, I am opening the file ee.scr to read the data from that file. Next, that file is attached to object of object input stream. The file which is opened in read mode is attached to object input stream. Clear. Again, the method read object, the method read object will read each value. Okay, will read the sequence of bytes and it will convert them back into the object E. E is equal to employee in dot read object. Okay, this read object will read the values and it will convert those values back to the object E. Okay, we are closing the object input stream. We are closing the file. Okay, object as well as object input stream class as well as file is closed. Now to confirm whether the conversion is successful or not, I am displaying the values e dot name, e dot address, e dot emp, e dot age. Is it clear? First run this one once. Something happened. Wait. Something is wrong in my Eclipse. Again, I will restart the Eclipse. Again, I am opening my Eclipse. Now we run the serializer program. The object E is successfully serialized. When we come back to deserialization, we are getting that one. The name is Murali, address Macharla, employee ID 5. If you take age is 0 here. Okay, only age is displayed as 0. Remaining values are displaying as it is. The reason here is I made age as transient. For example, if I remove this transient here, again I have successfully serialized. Now I am deserializing. Now observe age is displayed. Okay, if I make this one as transient, name is made as transient. See, name is null. Only name is not displaying. Remaining are displaying like that. Transient means if you don't like any field to be transferred over the network, if you don't like any field to be convert into sequence of bytes, for that particular one, we use the transient. Next, when we come to deserialization, okay, the same file is opened. Whatever the file we saved in this serialize.demo, the same file is opened here in the read mode. Again, that file is attached to file input stream. Next, by using read object here, the data is readed and copied to the empty object E. Previously E is empty. Now the data is copied to E. Yeah, and now the files are closed. Next, to confirm that one, we are displaying the values E dot name, E dot address, name, EMP, and age. Clear. For example, if I change the values instead of Murali, now here I am changing the value as Reddy. Now I have changed the values name and address. I have serialized. And when we come to deserialization, we are updating that one. Okay. This is the process of serialization and deserialization. By using the serialization, we are saving the state of the object in some file. Okay, in our local system, we are saving the state of the file. We can save the state of the object in some file or in some database, or we can send the object's state through the network to some other system. By using serialization, we can save the state of the object in some file or in some database, or we can send the state of the object to some through some network to other systems. In okay, for this one internally, what will happen is first the object will be converted into sequence of bytes. Then either they will be stored in the file or database, or they otherwise they will be passed through the network to other system. Okay, that process is called serialization. The process of converting object to sequence of bytes is known as serialization. And when we come to the reverse process, okay, the process of converting sequence of bytes back to object is known as the deserialization. Okay, these are regularly used in the chat applications, in the gaming. Regularly, these are used. Some better examples which we know very well is the regularly in the chat applications we are using. Okay, as well as the gaming applications, they are using the serialization concept. Why? Because the state of the game must be saved. Okay, the chat messages must be transferred to the other one through the network. The chat messages must be moved to the other one. Okay, in that situation, they use the concept of the serialization. Clear? This is briefly the today's concept called serialization. Okay, tomorrow we will see another one.